Hey, I'm Brian, and this is my hands-on and my thoughts on the OnePlus 6. Yes, appreciate my dedication, I actually flew out to London yesterday to give you this video. And also because it was a pretty cool event, but more to that later. So if I do sound a little tired, that's because I am. But you probably want to hear about the phone first. In usual OnePlus fashion, it does have the latest specs, of course. Snapdragon 845, 6GB to 8GB of RAM, and 64 to 256GB of storage. This is the first time they offer this high storage capacity, but I think at that price it's kind of unjustifiable. Speaking of the price, the phone costs €519 and $529, and then for every storage capacity upgrade you do pay 50 more. I think that is a good price for the upgrades they did make. It's less than I would have anticipated, but it's more than I would have hoped. But it will be interesting how long they can keep this strategy of slowly increasing prices going, because now there are also phones like the Honor 10, which is $399 and pretty similar. So what did they do to justify this price upgrade? Well, the first thing is of course the display. It's a gorgeous Full HD Plus OLED panel at 6.3 inches, and yes, let's get that out of the way, there is the notch. I think it's a better approach than just having a straight top bezel because it gives you more screen real estate, but I think that it's worse than if they would have just put all of the sensors and the front-facing camera in the chin, as that is still there too. So I'm kind of impartial to it, and because it's an OLED panel, it's actually not that big of a deal in most applications, because in games and when you're watching video, it actually hides the notch with a black bar on the side, so you have equally as much black space on both sides and still a rectangular window in the middle without any cutouts. But what the display ties into, of course, is the design. What I do like this year is that OnePlus has actually taken a step away from Oppo's design and made kind of their own thing. Because that was not the case with the OnePlus 5 and 5T, and I think they got a lot of backlash for that, also from me, so it's just natural, as they're a company that listens to the community, that they changed it this time around, and I appreciate it. That also means that the back is now made out of glass. But OnePlus said that the glass back is actually not going to be any more fragile than their previous metal phones. And Linus, yes, that Linus, actually got a factory tour at the OnePlus factory. You've probably seen that video, but before he uploaded that, he even told us at the event that OnePlus's claims in terms of durability are pretty much true. What is also interesting about the glass back is the three variants that it comes in. There's the normal mirror black, which is just your standard glass back, and then there's matte white and matte black. And they said on stage that it feels and looks like metal, and from holding both phones in my hands, I can actually totally tell you that that's true. If you were to have a blind test with someone and don't tell them that that phone is glass, they probably would have a hard time guessing that it is. The OnePlus 6 also feels exceptional in the hand. It really doesn't have to hide from phones like the Galaxy S9 here. Now what hasn't changed is the software. The OnePlus 6 is still the fastest Android phone out there. Like, if you're coming from a Samsung or an LG phone, this just makes you feel bad about your own phone. The software experience is so fast, it's unbelievable. But what they did change up this time around is they actually integrated the gestures that they had tested on the OnePlus 5T fully into the operating system. So you could swipe up to go home, swipe up from the right to go back, and things like that. Together with the notch, it kind of gives me an iPhone X feel, but at least they didn't copy the camera on the back. Speaking of the camera, I actually didn't get a lot of time testing that because the lighting inside the event center wasn't that great, but you could kind of test the low light capabilities, and those seem to be actually pretty good. This might especially be the case because the phone now has optical image stabilization on the main sensor. That could also help with video recording, which is also another new feature. You can record at 480 FPS at up to 1 minute, which is much more useful than 960 FPS at like 0.2 seconds, and of course also 4K 60 FPS. Now there are of course also some things that haven't changed. The phone still supports dash charge on its 3300 mAh battery. It still has the alert slider, although that switched sides. You still have a super fast fingerprint reader, super fast face unlocking, and yes, also still a headphone jack. That is interesting because OnePlus actually also unveiled new wireless earbuds alongside the OnePlus 6, the Bullets Wireless. So what do I think of the phone? Well, it's just basically a more refined and updated version of the OnePlus 5T, which was already a super great phone, actually their best-selling phone. So I think that the OnePlus 6 is probably going to sell equally as well. But that pretty much already wraps up this hands-on. I really had a great time in London yesterday, and I appreciate that OnePlus also invited normal people to this event instead of just tech media. Those people were of course there too, which was quite cool for us because we could talk to a lot of big tech YouTubers. That was kind of the second attraction. So if you liked this video, you know which buttons to press, and don't forget to press that follow button on Twitter. I'm Brian, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.